Hi, these are 7 things that will help you pass your reading exams. Number 1, the most important thing is that you actually understand the text when you read it. So a good idea is, if you're reading a story or some information, to actually make a movie in your head, to actually try and imagine what is being described to you. Secondly, if you come across a word that you do not understand, her grandma's in hospital, she'd caught malaria in Egypt. Don't just ignore the word, it may be important. Try and work out from the context what you think it is. So for example, if she's in hospital, malaria is probably going to be a disease. Number 2, have a look at the mark scheme. Now, in a big box question like this, you'll find a little 3 or a 2 down the bottom telling you how many marks you can get for the question. You will not get full marks by simply filling the whole box with writing. If it says 3 marks, you will have to give 3 separate parts to your answer, usually bullet pointed and definitely all different from one another. You must talk about what's in the text. So for example, if you're reading some information, London. London's the capital city of England. It has a population of over 60 million. Manchester. Manchester is the 2nd biggest city in the country. It used to be the centre of the UK's cotton industry. Why are some words in bold? London, Manchester. If you say to make them stand out so you can see them more clearly because they're the subtitles, that is true in a way, but you never get a mark for that kind of answer. You're always required to talk about something that's in the text. So for example, why are some words in bold? Well, actually, they are the names of the places being described, so you have to give that as your answer. When you're given a speech or a thinks bubble, it usually requires you to imagine you are one of the characters in the story. Now, a good tip is always to start with the word I. Some children, they start writing, I know, Tom felt that he was very unhappy, because you are not describing the character, you are the character, so it must start with I. Generally, these are 2-mark questions, with 1 mark being awarded for giving the character's feelings, and a 2nd mark for referencing something else that's in the text. Word choice questions. Now, these are never well phrased in the test, and they're often set out like, why did the author choose the word banana? Or what's the effect of the word banana? Usually what these questions are asking is, what does the word actually mean? So for example, Mary walked into the exam room. Her stomach was full of butterflies. Why did the author choose the word butterflies? Well, what's really being asked is, what does it mean? So you just have to put anxious or nervous. Mark had been playing football for 7 hours. His head hurt, he was covered in mud, and his legs felt like lead. What's the effect of the word lead? Well, it might be asking it in a slightly more complicated way, but usually it's, what does it mean? So if he says his legs were like lead, he felt heavy. Number 6. Questions will often ask you to find and copy a word or a phrase. Now make sure when you're copying, if you're asked for a word, you just copy a single word. If you're asked for a phrase, it's 2 or more words. So for example, Tom looked around him. His head felt as if it were going to explode. Find and copy a phrase that shows that Tom was angry. Now, if you put, he felt like his head was going to go bang, you would not get a mark for that because you're not copying it directly. You've put it into your own words. Similarly, if you put the word explode, it's a word and you've been asked for a phrase. The correct answer would be going to explode. Number 7, non-literal meaning. A lot of children assume that if a character is speaking in a story, they're telling the truth. That's not always the case. For example, they might be using sarcasm. So if a teacher says, for example, "That's a brilliant answer, well done," they might actually mean the exact opposite, and they're taking the mickey out of the child. Or when your teenagers exit your kitchen, leaving it looking like a war zone, you might say, thanks for all the help with the washing up. Well, actually you don't mean thanks at all. Characters can lie to make themselves look good, to exaggerate. So for example, I got a 95 out of 100 on my maths app when I was 5. They may lie to get themselves out of trouble. It wasn't me, the cat kicked the football at the TV. Or finally, to protect someone's feelings. Yeah, of course, that dress looks lovely on you. So, there are 7 things to remember. Number 1, understanding is the most important thing. Number 2, look at the mark scheme. Number 3, talk about exactly what's in the text. For the thinks or speech bubbles, pretend you are the person. Number 5, for the word choice questions, it's usually what does the word mean. Number 6, exact copying of a word or a phrase. And number 7, remember, characters don't always tell the truth.